It's time to find out which Four Roses recipe is the best. Let's dive in and let's do it blind. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch, and thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So that's right, today we are finishing out our quest to find the best recipe from all 10 of Four Roses options. If you haven't been following along, this is actually part 3 in a 3-part series, so I highly recommend you go watch part 1 and part 2 before diving into this one to really understand how we got here. But to quickly recap for you, Four Roses recently released a one-of-a-kind, brand new kind of 10 recipe tasting set where every whiskey from their entire possible lineup of 10 possible options is available to taste at 104 proof around the same age and all batched. So it's a very even playing field here. Part 1, we went through all the B lineup, which is the high rye mash bill. Part 2, we went through all the E lineup, which is the low rye mash bill. I picked my 2 favorites from both of those, and now we're gonna blind those against each other. We've got OBSV, OBSK, OESO, and OESF. A really nice mix of the different kinds of yeast strains and mash bills here. Really excited to see what comes out on top. Before me, I've already got the whiskeys all scrambled up, so no idea what the order is. It's not a double blind because obviously I know which whiskeys are in this blind matchup, but no idea about the order. We're just gonna call the whiskeys down the line, starting here, glass A, all the way down to the other side, glass D. Without further ado, let's dive into glass A on the nose. It's nice. It's fruity. Nice and sweet. Honey, vanilla, caramel, red cherry. Little bit of spice, but not too much. But just really nice and fruity and fresh. Inviting. That's a great start. All right, let's go to glass B. Ooh, okay. A little bit more delicate, fresh quality here as well. Still getting that vanilla and caramel. A little bit more spice, maybe. It's got a little more kick to it, yeah. But the fruit sweetness is still there. Maybe a little darker. Slightly darker fruit. A little bit more spice coming through on that one too. Maybe a little bit of a astringency, but not a bad kind. Just kind of complementing the sweetness there as well. All right, let's go to glass C. This has some sort of like darker tone to it. Maybe a little more oak and... But again, there's fruit. Yeah. These are all nice and fruity, which you'd expect from Four Roses across the board. But this had a little bit of an oak punch to start. But it's freshening up. A little vanilla punch as well. And some of that bright red cherry coming through on that one too. Wow, okay. All right, let's go into glass D. Okay. Maybe a little bit more of a cinnamony kind of spice going on here. Yeah, this one's got a rye presence, rye forward as well. A little more tingly in the nose. Less of the fruit coming through on this one. It's really more leaning into that rye spice, cinnamon spice. Just more punchy and prickly on the nose. Really enjoying all of the noses. I really like glass A, it just came out strong. But I am definitely intrigued by the other 3. We're gonna get a lot more information from the palate though, so let's dive in there and take our first sip. Glass A, cheers. Well, by golly, that is good whiskey, man. It was so sweet and vanilla and cherry to start, and then in the mid palate, there was a big burst of that rye spice, a little bit of oak, some black pepper even, and then fades into a sweet honey, cherry, vanilla finish as well, with a little bit of that spice lingering. The sweetness on that is spectacular. I'll be grabbing water between each of these sips, by the way. All right, let's go to glass B. Okay, so that was a little bit more of a dense and smoother experience, less spice. So on that one I got a lot of that cherry and vanilla still there, but this one was more honey forward, even a little bit floral, maybe some berry notes in there as well. So different kinds of fruits presenting themselves. And then yeah, a little kick of spice in the mid palate, but not nearly as aggressive as glass A, and then faded into this really pleasant honey, slightly floral, berry forward kind of finish. Really, really good. All right, let's move on to glass C here. Cheers. That's good. It is different though. That's more of a cherry, cinnamon, brown sugar. A little darker sweetness there going on. Really, really solid though. I mean, spice is there. Cinnamon spice though. It's more of a rich, sweet kind of spice, but really, really good. But yeah, that one had more brown sugar on it, maybe a touch more oak that I can feel. That one's more like a traditional bourbon without as much fruit notes that I'm getting on glass A and B, which Four Roses is very known for their fruit notes. So glass C is a little bit more in a different lane, but I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Okay, moving on. Glass D, final glass here. See how this holds up. Cheers. Man, that's good too. That's like also brown sugar forward for me on that one. More caramel. A little bit of a chocolate note in there maybe. So some milk chocolate. Some oak spice as well. Yeah, that one is very, very solid. They're all good. I liked all of these obviously coming out of the previous parts. So these are all front runners in my mind. I'm gonna have to go through this a little bit more nitpicky and go in reverse order and then do some A/B comparisons to figure out my favorite. So I'm gonna cut through all of that for you guys and just get to the end product here with my final order so that it's a little faster, but I'm gonna do my due diligence now. So let's get fast forwarding. All right, everybody. It's time to reveal the winner of all 10 Four Roses recipes. What a journey it's been. Did want to say, I moved the bottles over here. Sorry if it was a little confusing. It wasn't the order they were in the whole time. I just wanted to represent what was in the blind for each of you. But for me, in fourth place here, and disclaimer, there's no real losers. All of these are great recipes. Fourth place is pretty clear to me. It was a little bit less punchy of a whiskey overall. And that's glass C. Let's see what that was. Okay, so that's the OESF. Makes sense, lower rye. Supposed to have more of an herbal quality. I picked up a little more floral essence on it, I guess. So overall, really, really solid, very pleasant, but less gravity to it than the others had. All right, in third place for me was one that started out strong, but the other two kind of overtook it over time, and that's going to be glass A. All right, let's see what glass A was. Wow, that's the OESO. I thought that was going to be a front runner basically this whole time, but I got more of a bright cherry, a really nice sweetness on this. It just lacked, again, some of the punch and gravity of these other two, which is kind of interesting that these are the two high rye whiskeys. Maybe for my palate, maybe in a blind, just that extra punch and weight to them really carried through. But again, all of these are great. So these last two I really debated, went back and forth. And for me, it just came down to the most well-rounded and balanced of all of them, which I felt was glass B. Glass B was just such good whiskey. Glass D had a little more spice and kick to it, but glass B, I could just sip on all day. So let's see what the winner was. OBSV. Wow. So your winner today and all of Four Roses just happens to be their regular old single barrel recipe, which makes a lot of sense why they pick it. Now OBSK I really love how much spice that has. It reminds me of like a Larceny Barrel Proof with the amount of like cinnamon red hot character that it's got. Really, really nice. But I mean, OBSV is just, what a phenomenal recipe. And no wonder Four Roses, you know, bets their dollar on that for the single barrel. It's amazing. And it gets me excited because I was actually able to pick up my first ever barrel strength from Four Roses, which is a 10-year, 4-month-old OBSV. So really, really excited to try that now because wow, what a recipe. Okay, everybody, I think that's gonna do it. That's gonna wrap it up. What a journey it's been through all 10 recipes of Four Roses. Hope you've enjoyed all the content, and just, this was kind of a big undertaking to do all of this, but I hope if you see the 10 recipe tasting kit that you grab it and you go through this experience, because it's been a lot of fun and really cool to see how they can create such distinct profiles by varying up that mash bill and the yeast strain. While I still have you, if you haven't already, would love to have you aboard for the rest of 2023 and beyond as a subscriber. If you're liking the content, especially this Four Roses series and content, would love to have you like the video so it can get out to more people. And while you're at it, comment down below. Let me know, what's your experience with Four Roses? Have you tasted all 10 recipes? If you have, what's your favorite? If you haven't, which ones are you chasing down and most interested in trying? All right, everybody, till I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.